And hello, everybody. Welcome to the makeup stream. We're doing a makeup match for Red Sun versus West Broadway Grillers, and I am here with IPS. IPS, what can you tell us about Red Sun? How's this team going to fare today?
So, well, Red Sun, I think so far is like one of the top three teams in this amateur league, as, pretty much all of us is saying in the amateur streams. Currently the only team they have lost to is Xylo, which is the undefeated team, the top team, the team to beat. But we look at their members here. Of course, we have Delta, their captain, and their support player. And from there, you also have Beam and Admir, their two slayers, basically playing Gnaw and Splash respectively. And probably one of their biggest, their kind of gimmick is Tina, their brush player, who has been putting a lot of work with that brush, especially against Xylo. They only lost to Xylo 3-2. They're the only team that's taken Xylo to a game 5 so far in the season.
Nice.
And, that brush definitely helped them a lot, since Xylo did have a weakness against brushes, but maybe, Xylo playing against Red Sun, that might have helped Xylo. But in general, Red Sun is definitely like a strong team, and, looking at also West Broadway Grillers being the other team that has only also lost to Xylo. This is a series which, honestly, I think we actually might get to a game 5.
Oh, I hope
that
so.
That is the hope. Yeah. Since, on the side of West Broadway Grillers, we have Debbie on that Hydra, she's the captain also of that team, I believe. And, she has also been putting a lot of work. Basically, the whole team has been, playing around her Hydra, just her staying alive most of the game. I think she has around like a 3.14 KA, I think last time it was.
Not someone I'd
she's
want
always
to
staying
face.
alive. She's getting killed. Yeah, she's always getting killed. She's getting killed. She's keeping control. She's basically being a beacon for her team, and everyone else is playing up around that really, really well. So it's gonna be interesting to see how these two teams fare. It's gonna be basically no backline comp versus a comp with a really strong backline player.
And you
So
said both of
I
them
think
have
it's gonna be
only
really
lost to
interesting.
Xylo? You said both of them have
Yeah,
only
both
lost.
of them have only. Yeah,
Well,
only to
this is going to
Xylo.
be a tight match then. I'm looking forward
Mm.
to it.
I think this is definitely going to determine like which team gets second and third seed in playoffs. I believe probably it's probably determined that.
Oh, so this is an important match.
Mm-hmm.
They're both going to be gunning for it, working
Mm-hmm.
they can, seeing
Yep.
what they can get out of this.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
definitely.
given that,
One thing I believe
go for it. One
we
thing I
maybe want
believe.
to look at the maps.
Oh yeah,
We
so
can look at the maps.
the maps list, I believe, has been changed. So if I click on maps and modes, we will not see the exact maps that I'm supposed to, at least not on my screen.
Right.
First one we've got up
Right.
is Sturgeon Shipyard Clam Blitz, which is one where
Right.
is a great defender, but a lot of offense can really push through. So it will really be a sort of telltale match just to see how these two teams get things started, don't you think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a matter of if Devi can stay alive like during these games on that Hydra. Redson is going to be looking at, especially that brush. That's one thing that brush struggles against is any basically backline weapon that can kill it quickly. Because one big advantage of brush is the fact that it has the ability to flank, for example, the support and the backline, and basically cut
Mm-hmm.
them off from the team. Because if you flank a backline and you kill them, that means there's nothing for the enemy team to fall back to. They lose their backbone. If you kill the support, they lose their paint, they lose their armor,
Mm-hmm.
they basically lose, the weapon that's helping them in fights, is helping them to win fights. So in the case here, you have Devi, who usually is the main armor for that team and also is the backbone. But the thing about Hydra is that if it has a charge revved up and sees a brush, the brush is dead. It's
Yeah.
just gonna die. It's gonna get shredded. So it's gonna be interesting to see how maybe Tina tries to play around that, and if they can displace Devi, Red Sun can probably just overwhelm and snowball the rest of West Broadway Grillers, because when Admir and Beam are able to just do what they want and allowed to go free, they just get work done. They get picks, they push objective, they just get stuff done.
Sounds like we're going to want to focus really closely on that brush and that Hydra then.
Mm-hmm.
See what they're focusing on, because honestly, a good brush is not somebody I ever want to face. I've been practicing against them, and me at my much lower level than these people. And a good brush is hard to get around. So
Yeah.
if you have them sneak up on that Hydra without a charge, then it might turn one way, it might turn the other.
The main thing that separates a mediocre brush from a good brush is, of course, just mainly the ability to enable their team. Because, like I said, if it's not only like, yeah, there is the fact that they can kill Debbie, right? But in other things, if Tina is able to just enable, Red Sun by distracting anyone from West Broadway Grillers, by taking people away from certain areas, by just being there and doing things, that can just help the rest of the Red Sun just push up really hard. And another thing, for example, if Tina can get a pick on a front line, or is able to attract the front line to another area or bait a front line to another area, then that can let Redson just pick off people one by one. And the main thing with a no backline comp is, compared to other comps, for example, a comp that usually has a backline will more rely on waiting for maybe specials to go in sometimes. But a comp with no back, they can literally just get a pick, and if you have another special at the ready, you could just push with that and snowball like it's nothing. And since Redson has a junior who pretty much can get armor at the ready anytime, if they're able to get a pick with Tina's baiting and just pop armor, they can snowball. And one thing Hydra struggles with, and one thing Hydra is good against sometimes, is snowballing. But if it's Admir and Beam rushing you, that could be really hard for Debbie to take care of.
I did not know that comps without a backline could storm that hard. That's very good to know, actually. That'll affect the strategy in these games. So, Clam Blitz. I've been watching them, but I haven't commentated Amateur League before, so I don't. So while I remember going woohoo, awesome matches, I don't remember the details. How are both of these teams at Clam Blitz in general? I know.
Well, I do.
I know you
They
say
only
they
lost
only
to
lost.
Silo.
Yep.
last time I watched these teams play, the only team I remember playing Clams was West Broadway Grillers, and when I saw them play Clam Blitz, it was on Inkblot Clams, and it was against, I believe, Kraken Warriors on kind of a really bad week. Like Kraken Warriors really struggled bad against them, but at the same time, anyway, West Broadway Grillers did play that game really well. Either way, I don't remember how Red Sun fared in Clam Blitz, but there might have been a chance that they did beat Xylo on Clams, maybe. And if that's the case, then, if you're beating Xylo on Clams, then, that means Clams has got to be one of your better modes, So it's going to be interesting to see here how these teams. Oh, they have all the members. I think, yeah, that's fine, yeah. All right. Yeah, we have all the members here now, so we're going to be starting this. And looking at these two rosters here, on the side of West Broadway Grillers, there is actually, I don't believe, any Devi. I'm not sure, though. Meanwhile, on the side of Red Sun, we have Beam, Delta, Admir, and Vertigo, which means they do not have Tina, so they have Vertigo, which is actually someone I did not mention.
Of course. You've got about 100 seconds to mention them now.
Well, yeah. Vertigo, I believe, plays Tent and more of those kinds of weapons. So basically, kind of Brush, but, different. Since, of course, Brush is the main distraction weapon in the game. But there's weapons like Tetris and Tent that also fit more of a unique role in this game, but they're a bit different. They're distraction weapons, but they do more than just mainly distract. Tent, for example, can enable pushes and use specials and hold areas completely. Meanwhile, Tetras can just slay if given the opportunity. So, definitely since it's Clams, it makes sense that they might want a 10 here, but they're going to have to be really careful. Because if, the main thing I think we saw last week was when Xylo played against Tent Supremacy. Tent Supremacy ran a Tent, and I believe Neo got 2 or 3 kills by just throwing bombs at the shield. So, maybe Vertigo is going to be more aware of that with Red Sun and not try to get his teammates killed on accident, because that would be insanely unfortunate. But, yeah. And another thing on the side of West Broadway Brothers, there is no Devi, so we won't be seeing a Hydra. So this means actually both teams might be running a no back comp, which is going to be fairly interesting to see, West Broadway Brothers without Devi, because I think I've only seen them once, and it was a game they actually dropped. So we'll see here now how this goes. Going into game 1 of Red Sun versus West Broadway Brothers on Clam Blitz.
Red Sun in the green. West Broadway Grillers in the blurple. And
so now we're seeing here on the side of Red Sun, we have, of course, that 10 umbrella with the non shot being pretty common. So West Broadway Grillers without that package as well, but flash backwards, K-shot, and basically I think looking for more that chip damage with burst bombs, torpedoes, and that rapid. Going for that bomber to get control of that. So that admin does go down. The 3 of Red Sun now are actually getting overwhelmed by the color killers in the first control.
3 down.
So the first control is really West Broadway here.
And they've got enough power.
So down the spinner with that bomb rush.
Oh. Very nice play in there.
Red Sun's able to defend the first one, but West Broadway still has control mid.
Control of mid is so important in this map because there's no way around it. Some maps you can go around, maybe you can duck or cover, but this one you've got to go right through it to expose yourself. West Broadway out. And we've got the first push. See if anyone can follow up on it there. Oh, down to 68. That's not as much of a push as I thought they were going to get. That was not as big, and they much bigger lead to get anywhere with this map.
I believe that 10 actually got a distraction there. That had people on it for a big while, and they were missing see now Abby on this one. I mean, 1v1 against Sam on the right side of the Zach as now Beans can come out, but maybe get that pick for Sam does jump out. And Now, one does go down the spinner, two down inside of West Broadway. Maybe make that three if Jen goes down here as well, but he's able to survive and get out. And this could be a push now for Red Sun.
Oh, yeah. They can get more clams here. Got one in bubble defense, bubble and tent defending them as they make quite a push down to 53. Are they going 50? Down below 50.
That's another weapon, West Broadway.
Still just responding. They're still just responding. They're going to have to do some tough defense here because they've got the tent defending their pushing. Move down.
Delta going down with those 7 clams.
More.
Unfortunate there. But Vertigo's still just stalling. They're just focusing Vertigo so hard, and he was able to see up some more clams and get a pick on Toxic. Maybe get even more clams. He's gonna get another one in. And now it's gonna finally get taken out. But right now that tent is doing so much for Red Sun because West Broadway is here's the thing about right? Some places you want to ignore 10. But when a 10 is in that position, you want to kill him quickly and efficiently. You don't want to waste too much time. The best way to do that is to build his shield.
That tent just did so much just by using his shield to block to protect his teammates and to get everything out of the way. Looks like
as we see here now,
Red Sun down 2. Power clam, but it Power clam. They worked off their penalty, but they don't have anything left, and their last one's just respond.
That one's going to come back to the upframe as well, so they're going to have to try and make another big push. But as I was saying, that umbrella is really just putting in the work, and West Broadway's really going to find a way to get around it, even though they don't have a bracket on their side. They really just have to bomb that down and just make it back. Without a shield, the tank can't do anything. And right now, Vertigo really is not getting shield away from it.
Looks like
so. Down on the side with Delta going into
they've got
it's not going to be worse. As I say that, Delta gets 1.
They're down. Oh, this is going to be a big push.
And you're not using that bubble to his advantage. They even more clams in.
4-1. Are we going to have a walkout? They need clam for the knockout. And they're jumping into power clam. They're jumping in the. Oh, are they gonna? Oh, they did not get it in.
That was unfortunate. Delta had to move to the right behind the wall, but the push down the wall is really good, but it's not winnable for West Broadway. If they can get a big push from the power clam, you have around 30 times the red to see it. Like they have to build that tank. As Bomber just came out from Pasta, right now they're finding it. You get 3 down.
1, 2. Are they gonna? Is this gonna be a reverse? Is they going to do it? Yes! Holy! I can't believe.
And West Broadway takes game 1.
West Broadway takes game 1. That was an amazing comeback.
Amazing. That was an amazing push there for the end by West Broadway. They did right as I said. They took out that tent. And they did. When they took out that tent, everything fell apart for Red Sun. They were able to take out the rest of them, and the only one left was Delta. And with that, Clam Blitz, people underestimate how quick you can score clams. When you have 2 power clams at the ready and a bunch of clams behind it at around 30 clams, you can go from like 44 to 9 that easily. And they just need a couple of clams after to finish up that game. And right now, very tough loss for Red Sun there. But this is going to be a close set for sure. But
this is going to be a great set.
They're going to have to keep their composure here, got to keep calm, and they got to make sure to not, get wiped by WBG like that. You got to make sure at the end of those games where overtime is coming in, you want to play as careful as possible. You want to play right, because if you don't play right, one person goes down, everyone follows, and that's what happened there at the end of that game. But at the same time, that 10 umbrella was putting in a lot of work for Red Sun as well, and was making WBG pretty much sweat until the final moments of that game where they finally killed them. So this is still really, really even. Red Sun, I think, just needs to, like I said, keep it together, because there isn't really much they did wrong that game except for the end.
Yep, they panicked. They thought they had it. Got it down to 1. They weren't quite as careful as they could have been. So we think we'll see a repeat of that on Splat Zones, or do you think they'll keep their cool this time?
I think they might be able to keep their cool, or maybe not. It really depends. We'll see now. Although still, WBG still keeping with that no back comp, even on Skipper. And Skipper's a map where you usually do see backlines ranging from Expo to E-Leader to Heavy to anything, really. But now we're going to be seeing two no back comps here clash. And this is going to be basically the team, for example, if Red Sox can control that bottom, Vertigo's just going to spam 10 shields up to that top because that's going to be something that WBG is going to need to destroy to get past. And he can just keep spamming those because they paint and they put pressure.
Exactly.
On the side of WBG, depending on their comp here, we're going to see what they can do. And we see for WBG, actually,
Red Sun in the green.
Flexing to that Expo.
Red Sun in the green, West Broadway in the purple.
Custom Expo, which is a really good weapon with Smack, and really use the angle to get that zone to get some hits. On the side of Red, this is something really new. Pretty good to get this thing go down, but that is the issue. I've never seen any of this. But my new sense of that is that this is that really good is to stall out and get these weak and destroy the pushes. And also the tennis Sorella coming out also from Vertigo, which is a very strong weapon on this map. It's actually one of the only maps where Code Rush is good. But, this is the interesting is right now, Red Sox just have more control, but, LBG is basically hanging out that zone with the help of that Expo. Sam right now is just in the top, he's just taking control in there. And right now, it seems like control is going to go another West Broadway Rivers as Red Sox is going to be coming back from spawn.
Keeping control of that top mid can really be a key thing on this map because it limits the areas your enemies can approach. If you know where they are, then you can really hide out here and take them down as they come in. If they have to go down the center, then there's a lot more room for both sides to maneuver, especially the opponent as they're already in the zone.
If you take out that Expo though, which is really good, I feel like it's probably possible. But he does go down right now. Zone did switch to side of Red Sun, which is really good. It does give Red Sun now more time, but Red Sun right now, if they want to get control, they have to find a way to take over bottom mid without letting someone like Loki just get in, like right now.
Like right now.
There, and they just go right in again. Right now, Red Sun has to be more aggressive because they're playing
nice trade.
Very aggressive game. And you see right now Toxic up here at this top with Cookie, just keeping top mid here while Sam is going for bottom, going points and trying to detect people, get people marked, and just keeping that main pressure. Because the main thing about Expo is that it does not kill, but it has amazing main pressure. It basically makes any team go like, okay, if they want to take an open, we cannot go over here. Unless we overwhelm them, because right now, Red Sox is trying to do it. They're like, after something, they take it over,
and they did.
Delta, one shot, but Delta gonna play this one back a little bit now. On his own, maybe able to make some clutch plays that Ace can get those, and you can jump in, get one, get
two. Very nice.
And he's in the back now, and finally, control for Red Sox. Control the game for the whole game, and with this top now, they can send with that Cody Washington those missiles. You could see a lockout for my Red Sox.
We might need to see a lockout for them to win because they're down quite a few points, and while there's still plenty of time in that game, that is quite a bit to make up. They're trying to push in from the top. It looks like we've got quite a few splat bombs coming out, and one more of the zone switch.
When they go down for Red Sun, just the paint on the side of the going. As soon as one goes down on Red Sun, they come out. And you see now the bomber coming out from Hospital, he's going to go down. Toxic's going to go out as well. And once again, they walk out. Walker's doing here for Red Sun, where they need to get the control. They need to get the special. Like, right now, they have that current bomber. He cannot go down. If Vertigo goes down,
he's getting targeted by everything. They're down. Yeah.
So it's going to go right back to WBG again, which right now, WBG is able to disconnect versus Red Sun, pick them off, and play the 4v3 with that pain and pressure. They literally see what they're on. see now Virgo with the center row. It doesn't get in, gets control again. Pasta on the flank. Maybe, hopefully, Delta sees him. Delta now, really clutch player to get that pick. That would be not guessing. But now, we see Jam at the ready here with missiles. Sam going to go down with that ball, which isn't going to be really good. Penalty now taking down for Red Sun here as missiles do come out without much backup with them. And honestly, this might be a lead shift here if Red Sun can take his own.
Vertigo's faced in a 2v1 up top, just lost it, but kept on in the zone long enough for that lead change. Are we going to see it switch? We are. WBG
right now, Red Sun
has to get in zone. Well, 2-1, WBG has to hang on to that zone. They can't lose it again. They've got to make up for this penalty, and they've got to make up. Nope. They could not do it. That is a win for Red Sun in overtime.
That was a really tense game right there.
Really tight.
Equally matched is insane, and that game that really seemed West Broadway Grillers for the most of it. Like they were just holding zone. They were letting Red Sun just. Basically one of them always went down, and then with that, West Broadway Grillers could output enough paint pressure to just hold. And by the way, there's a sub, so don't start this game. But as I'm saying, basically there was enough pressure from West Broadway to just outpaint them. But as soon as Red Sun got those picks and didn't have as much of a penalty, the whole plan of just WBG being able to get a pick and paint zone just did not work because they got wiped too many times after it. And then the lead shift happened, and it was a massive team fight, struggle for zone, and Red Sun just came out on top in the end with that bomb rush, I believe it was. So, and now we do see Tina coming in for Red Sun on tower control ink blot. So it's going to be interesting to see what they have in store for you. Probably Tina going to go Cocteau Brush, which is going to be interesting to see on TC. Not a weapon you usually see at all in comp play. You usually see the original brush, like a normal brush, ink brush, Nouveau, perma brush in comp. But, it's nice to see an Octa Brush. It's definitely more of a off-meta pick, but if they can make it work, they can make it work,
All right, since we did have a sub, I'm just checking with the team captains that everyone's ready to go before I continue onward. Because next up, we've got Tower Control at Inkblot Art Academy. And that is... Frankly, I love doing Tower Control here. It is such a good map for, well, just about any comp you can put down here. But especially the backliners have a lot of good spots to duck in, and you really want to get control of that plat.
Mm-hmm. Well, the funny thing is, there is no backliners still for either team.
True enough.
Still out for WBG, and Red Sun in general just does not have a backline. The longest range weapon on their team is Admir with that Nautilus, which is kind of adding at which kind of basically acting as a pseudo backline, similar to how FT Win plays. They play with a Nautilus, which is basically a pseudo backline. Now, it's a weapon that can abuse its range really effectively and just hold areas down like a backline, but when it's needed, can easily just slay with that inkjet, and in general, the main weapon just shreds. So basically, that's what Red Sun's kind of playing off of here, while also having a brush to play with the distraction gimmick. But, yeah.
All right.
I believe Red Sun is ready, so we can probably get started with
All
this
right,
match
let's go
here
then.
as we... So we're going to... I think for this map, since both teams are no back, the winning team here is going to be the first team to get control basically of that bats area. So the way it's going to work is just you're going to have a fight, of course, admitted at the beginning, and the winner of that fight is going to want to push up quick, like fast. You don't want to delay around tower. You want to have one person grinding tower, and the rest of you want to just get up onto that plat. And you want to have two people in bats, two people in plat. That's usually how you push in this map, because if you have one person up plat, anyone that drops down there is going to go down. Meanwhile, on bats, the two people there can just easily push and put pressure onto the enemy spawn, while also dropping anyone from bats down to the person on plat who's going to probably get the pick. So, for example, for Red Sun, it's going to be really good for that Nautilus to get up on those bats that have really big range. Meanwhile, probably Tina might be able to just wait under the plat to get some shark picks. Meanwhile, for WBG, if they run the similar comp they've been running, it'd be really good for that Rapid, for example, to get up on those bats, because with the indirects, they can get picks around walls, picks around that little ramp up there as well. So we're going to see these comps here, and it's going to be interesting. Pretty much the first fight in mid, whoever wins that is going to have a big advantage going into this game. And
Red
we
Sun
see
and green?
both comps coming out. Mm-hmm.
Red Sun and green, West Broadway and orange, and
Looking at these comps, we see Red Santina, I think for the first time ever, I'm not sure I've seen her on Octobrush Nouveau, which has that Beacon Missiles kit, which is really solid to get your team back in quick, and also Missiles in general, just a good special. As I say that, Red Sun, let's get the first control of the game. We're talking the last one alive, and talking about Toxic and WBG, their comp, basically running that splash again, Raven for that bomb rush on defense, while also just running K-Shot for missiles, and Pro for that Booyah Bomb. And Red Sun, of course, just still staying with everything else the same. Delta on that zap. So Tina does go down on the right side, unfortunately. Sam, you're going to try to put pressure for the tower. Those missiles coming out from Gem there is going to push two people back to left. And now WBG is going to push in, getting Admir, and maybe looking just to push in here and now take back control of mid. And, you know, I said that first mid fight is going to be who gets most control, but in essence, no one necessarily won that mid fight because it ended in basically a 2v1 where WBG was basically able to come back in before Red Sun, before Red Sun was able to make a massive push. So right now, Red Sun is kind of at a disadvantage here as Poss is going to try to push mid, but he might get taken out by Beam, and Delta does get taken out. Toxin now pushing into mid is not going to get canceled, now going to get killed, but not before trading with Amir. Sam going to get a pick there on the right.
And we've got another 2v1 situation.
Yeah, and Jam able to get that pick on Delta, and now this is going to be a WBG push.
Yep, that was the blade wipe on Red Sun. And
so like right now,
bomb, go for it.
Yeah, so like right now, we see like these two teams. We see WBG now pushing up. What do you think Red Sun needs to do to able to just to get back in here?
They've got to take care of that splatling. They've got to take care of, most of all, they've got to get control of that area right below, right around that corner. I don't know the names of it, the callouts yet. I'm working on it. But if they can't get control of that little area and get things shooting, then they're not going to be ready to do much.
See, Gugia does get a double with a jump in, and right now, just WBG with massive control of the plat area, but not really too much of that bat. So right now, Red Sun stay able to keep control of plats. I say that Gem and Cookie are just going to go in there. Gem going to get a pick, get two with those missiles as well. And right now, WBG is just making a big push as Tina now is forced down onto this left side where a brush can't really do much. And, you know, right now, Red Sun kind of struggling to get back in. As I said, they do get a pick on Gem. No. Sam going to go down getting his Booyah canceled. If they can get, they do get Cookie there. Toxic now, last one left, trying to back up. Now Red Sun finally going to have control again. Now it's time for them to make their own push. And honestly, if Red Sun wants to get back in this game, they're going to have to do what WBG just did to them. They're going to have to push up, get picks, get control of those bats. Because they get control of those bats, that comp is going to struggle pretty hard to get back in. Unless that Machiner Pro can basically come in and just do a couple of ranged picks. As I say that, though, Brush does go down, and a flank from the Machine on the right side is going to put some pressure on Red Sun as two do go down, and Delta going to try to back up here. He's going to back up really hard, leaving Beam on his own, who's also going to go down as well. And, you know, Ica right now just... WBG seems to be really have a lot of control of this game.
Red Sun can't even get past that first checkpoint. They need to get past those checkpoints because those are stopping blocks. And I noticed WBG seems to be taking them out more and more at the checkpoints, waiting for them to get the checkpoints, concentrating their fire there so that they can't make any progress. That does seem to be working out for them right now. Whereas we've got just over a minute and a half left. They need to make some real progress, and they can't keep getting wiped. They keep getting sucked into 1v1s or 2v1s on Red Sun's side. WBG's using that to their advantage, and they keep being...
It feels like a lot... It feels like a lot of Red Sun is basically just going into these fights, and they're not really trying to coordinate who they want to pick first, so they end up focusing different people, and those different people are able to work together then with WBG to just get those picks. And, you know, this whole game, it just seems like Red Sun, like you said, are not able to get past those checkpoints, and the main thing I feel like is that they're using their specials for other things other than to get past those checkpoints.
Well, maybe they hurt us. Maybe they hurt us, because they seem to be doing it now.
Yeah, well, WBG right now just doing what we want Red Sun to do. And Gem right here with those missiles at the ready, but is going to go down to Tina. Finally, this might be the chance Red Sun needs. They have to get into mid. They have to get control. If they don't, it's just nothing is going to come much from this. We see Admir does get a pick on the left side. Everyone right now on the side of WBG basically grouped out on that right side. One does jump out. Gem does go down. This is now the push that Red Sun needs. Amir on this plat might go down though. He's overextending a bit, but he's not. Beam come behind. Gonna get the pick on Toxic. Beam is gonna go down though to Cookie there. And right now,
They've got the inkjet out. They've got 2 people on tower trying their hardest to just keep that because they can't lose this push. They're in overtime. They've got to keep the tower. And they've got everyone shooting at them. At least one down. Booyah Bomb is probably going to end this push because you can't say. And, oh, that was. You can't stand up to a Booyah Bomb on tower. You can't. Booyah Bomb on tower is just overtime end right then, right there.
This is extremely unfortunate there. That whole game until the end, like Redson kind of had a chance there at the end, but at the same time, Beam gunned down there, and there was just we saw there was just a massive stalemate, kind of. WBG was just waiting with Booyah Bomb at the ready just to get all their players back, and then just throw that Booyah Bomb down and just then push in with that, and that's what they did. They just pushed in with the Booyah Bomb, and Beam being the last one left was able to get on tower in time before Sam, and that's gonna be the game. That was the game ended, and now West Broadway Grillers is up 2-1 in this set. They have to win one more to take this set over Red Sun. Meanwhile, Red Sun's got to win 2 in a row to take this set. And right now, Red Sun definitely at the back foot. But, the first 2 games were extremely close. That third game seemed to be a bit more in West Broadway's favor. I think Red Sun is going to have to think really quick here. What is WBG doing that we're not? And I feel like the main thing WBG is doing is they're actually just together when they fight. It seems like Red Sun are getting caught without their teammates with them, and it seems like that's gonna getting them killed in like 3v1s, 2v1s, and so on and so forth, which is not really helping out.
It's a little unfortunate.
It's not helping out with Red Sun's situation. But as we see here, all of Red Sun's instantly pressing A, so they're probably gonna be running the same comp. But if they want to do that, they have to find some way to just push past WBG, and I think this is going to be this Rainmaker here. Now, this right here is the biggest no back mode in the game. This is the one game where running no backline actually is common.
Yep.
This in Con Blitz, but this especially since this is pretty much the fastest paced game mode, and the main advantage of a no back comp is being quick. It's the fact that you can outpace your opponent, and
that's everything you want in Rainmaker.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that WBG is kind of, seems like switching up their comp, maybe we might see Sam flex on that CJ since we already saw him in Expo, so I wouldn't be surprised. But if that's the case, Red Sun has to take the advantage of that and try to outpace WBG before they can, for example, use their Ray, because if they don't outpace a Ray, then, or just, stop Sam from spamming Ray constantly, they're going to not be able to get even past 50.
All right, Red Sun in the yellow, WBG in the purple, and...
So from both sides, of course, same comp coming out from Red Sun. Nothing changed there. On the side of WBG, though, we do see Sam on that junior there. I believe he is going for that object share LDE build to, maybe make those comebacks at the end if needed. Meanwhile, we do see the T-Tech, the Pro, the Splash, pretty much really aggressive weapons, able to get kills, able to keep pushes going. Booyah is able to help the Rainmaker go through it. T-Tech able to get kills. Splash able to get that pop. As I say that, though, Red Sun going to get the first push this game.
Tina got a double with the hammer.
There.
And
right now,
they're down. They're wiped. They're wiped. This is going to be a knockout right off.
That's a KO. And
that was
Red Sun.
What? Where was that last match?
Red Sun now just make this set to 2. We're going to a game 5.
That was that was fast. I mean, Rainmaker does have those super fast, oh my god, what happened moments. But that was pretty darn amazing. I can't even lie. That was just bam, hammer double, bam, the other people down. We're pushing up. We're there.
I didn't even get to finish talking about the comps for the KO. That was ridiculous. But I think Red Sun did actually do what I said that game because to get wipes in this game, like I said, you got you got to work together as a team to take team fights. And the thing about there is that they took 2 down. Got Rainmaker. Instead of going right, they went left and then let Tina flank right while they were distracted. Tina got 2. And with that, basically, just the rest of Red Sun was able to just snowball the last 2 and just get a KO immediately because spawns were extremely staggered. And that's the worst thing that can happen in Rainmaker. If you get staggered in Rainmaker and have 2 respawning, right, you have 2 coming out right off spawn, they're going to have to defend a 4v2 while the other 2 are still coming out from spawn. So Red Sun there getting those staggered respawns on WBG really helped them there, and now we're coming to like the final map of the set. Being Clan Blitz Piranha, a map where Brush can really shine. This is going to be
Well,
interesting because.
it can, but we had another
Mhm.
change. We had another comp change. We had a sub.
Oh, I did not see that. I am
We
blind.
did
So I guess they're going to be
not.
trying to run that. They're going to be trying to run that 10 again, I guess, on Clam
They
Blitz.
are
But
works for them the first time, but
I.
this is a very different setup in Piranha.
Mhm, mhm.
How do you think Tent will work here as compared to the last place?
Well, it's going to pretty much work the same way, Like, unless WBG is not adapted, Vertigo's be able to do the same stuff. Just, put pressure, basically get eyes on him, and just, use that shield to basically stall as much as possible. Because that's what basically he's been trying to do, and what he tried to do in that first game. All the first second game. But although I believe this game, right? The thing about
Yep.
Piranha Pit Clams, it is a really, really, really easy map to push on. Once you get that pushing power, you just go in, you score clams, you score clams. Defense is atrocious on this map because left side, barely any weapons can actually get good angles on there, and you can easily just get shot up by the people at their basket. Grates is really vulnerable as well. So, and, the other side, the flank is pretty predictable. That's usually where people need to go. So, what's gonna happen here is Red Sun might have a slight advantage with that 10 because if a 10 is able to come behind with a shield and put attention on him on defense, that can help him a lot. Or just drop left, just basically put that shield on that enemy team while they're pushing and make them focus on that shield instead of getting clams and scoring like he did on that Surgeon game in game 1. Meanwhile, on the side of WBG, if they get a wipe as well, like or if they get pushed, it might be a bit hard for them to get back in depending on their comp, which we'll see here now. We see WBG going with, it seems, WBG going with the Siege It actually, which I expected last game instead. They're going to be trying to race spam, which is really good on this map since it's, it's pretty linear. Meanwhile, the rest of the team going for those short-range aggro shooters. Meanwhile, on the right side of Red Sun, they're actually running double armor, which can possibly counter this raid. But as I say that, already 3 down on the side of Red Sun, and Ike already WBG seeming to get the first control and possibly the
And
first
that is
push
a
here.
wipe. 16 clams. Not enough for a huge push, but enough for a decent one, especially because they had that wipe, and it looks like they're still okay. They're getting back. They have some time to defend. But like you said, that is such a cruddy spot to defend over on that side by the greats. You are so vulnerable, and okay, pretty good push down to 41 or down to 59 from 100. Good start, but
That was that
you
was
could
a
come
pretty
back
good
from
defense
that.
there for Red. Yeah, it was pretty good defense from Red Sun. They didn't let themselves get snowballed like easily, and by said,
Nice
you're
triple
coming with
by
that double,
Admir
but
there. Nice triple.
yeah, Toxic is on us one. Yeah, but basically, Nautilus does actually have a pretty good position on that left side. It's one of those few weapons with that decent position, so he's able to help their defend. And Vertigo, like I said, just drop those 10 shields down. But unfortunately, because that even though Admir got triple, 2 did go down to that splash, and you just see her. Delta and Beam are just kind of getting pushed, and they can't really seem to defend themselves sometimes. So it seems like maybe they need to move more as a unit just to push out WBG. As I said, that Ray does come out. Delta is going to go down. Maybe Beam now, too, is going to go down as well as that Ray. That Ray right now is helping WBG so much. It's just letting them get in. It's letting them get the picks they need. It's just taking down those 2 supports, which, one of them hasn't even been able to pop armor yet because of the amount of Rays and the amount of times they've been dead because of the pressure put on by WBG.
And they made another nice push there, got it down a couple more points.
47.
But a
It's
couple
not
more is
an
all they need to
insane
keep on the
push.
pressure.
This push can definitely backfire if Red Sun can instantly get back in, but they had to kill that one of them. They go down, they had to kill that 52 there, and they didn't even grab the pity right now. So, I think Red Sun right now needs to focus on getting that mid control like it, because if they don't get that mid control, they're not going to be able to do anything at all since this map is extremely linear.
Half this map seems to be mid, honestly. Everywhere between the 2 different ramps, and basically, unless you're right under the basket, you may as well be in mid. You've got to get control of as much of that as possible, limit your opponent's movements, or else you're not going to be able to do anything. And it looks to me like WBG is going to make another.
They're going to get 2 power climbs in, possibly. And yeah, they
Yep.
do, and they're already down to 23, Just these constant... They do get 2 picks there, and this might be really bad for Red Sun here. If they can't get the splash and the 2 out of here, they might lose the game here immediately as some claims do come in. This might be a KO if Sam can get in, but picks do come out from front, so they might not be able to get those clamps in.
No.
So Sam opting that back up, which is the really smarter play, but he still does get picked by Admir. Unfortunately, Power Clamp does die on the side of Red Sun, and Red Sun definitely have to work cut out for them because, they got to make a massive push themselves, but at the same time, if they get wiped once while trying to make their game-saving push, WBG can KO still. Like, they can get that lead down, they can get that penalty and just get KO really easily.
That's a
As I
two
say right
power
now,
clan
Vertigo,
push.
they're going to go in here with going in with this power climb now, Vertigo. The Zap does go down. Oh, Delta going down, losing the power climb as well. That push can be already over.
Oh,
Unless Adamir can pull out something here, yeah, that push is over.
kept the basket open a little while longer, but without anyone to support him, there wasn't anything they could do.
Red Sun not able to find a good push there. Like they had control. That they pushed in, but they didn't really get any picks with the push. And one person was able to just slip right past because he was behind Vertigo. And instead of just focusing Vertigo, he decided to focus Delta, who was trying to take the ink rail, which was the most optimal play since it's not the best place to come from. As I said that though, Red Sun right now, it's just they're getting picks. Admir here is at 12 KA. Like they're getting picks, but they need to get those clams. They need to actually make a push. Like they gotta get clams. And they do get the 52 there, but still, 90 clams. There are 20 clams, but do not have a power. Vertigo here maybe trying to make a power. Beam does get one. They do get a pick on the flash. 2 down on the side of West Broadway Grills. 3 down. This might be the push they need. They need a lot more clams than they have right now, but if they're able to keep this position right now, 2 gonna flank here. They're trying to throw those clams right down. Beam getting into 1v1 with Gem. Unfortunately, Delta does go down 2 down on the side of Red Sun. They do get a pick on Gem though. If they can Vertigo maybe get these clams in, you might be able to stall it out, but it's only gonna be a push to 16 and
that's not enough. They've got to get a
unless
power
they can
clam
get a
now to go
power
into
here.
overtime.
They do have a power, but they have to be able to get a push in the middle of overtime. And WBG is going to be trying to put their own pressure to make their own push possibly. And you have to also account that right now Red Sun has a nearly 40-point penalty, which is more than 2 power plants. This is going to be really tough here. The Booyah Bomb is going to come out. Bubbles coming out. Delta is going to go down with that Booyah Bomb. The power climb is too far away now. 2 down. This is game.
And that is game.
WBG taking the set 3-2, taking down Red Sun. What an amazing set.
Those were amazing games. Those two teams were so evenly matched. They were in each other's face, on top of each other the whole time. WBG just they had more. They were splatting more. They were a bit more coordinated, and that's what won it for them. Not enough.
I feel like,
but just enough.
Yeah, I feel like Red Sun at the end of that game, they had such a big push. It was such a good push, but it just wasn't enough clams in the end. And I feel like if they played like that the whole game, they would have KO'd in the first 2 minutes. Like if they played like that in the first 2 games, they could have KO'd in the first 2 minutes, or in general would have been in the position that WBG was before that push. 8 to 100. But that first half of the game, those rays, that pressure, Delta and Beam just struggling to be able to get around anywhere. They were just getting taken out a lot, and in the end, it just ended up being, kind of pretty much the first 3 quarters of the game was just all WBG, and in the end, those first 3 quarters were not able to come back from that. Red Sun tried, but they couldn't.
Yep. Still, I believe both of these teams are moving on to the playoffs.
So, for sure. I
mean,
they
will be seen again, and
yeah. The season isn't over yet. Tomorrow we got week 5 of the Amateur League. It's going to be pretty much, I believe, 5 matchups coming up tomorrow. And even then, there is still week 6 and week 7, and then the playoffs will happen. But I do believe that these 2 teams, even though Reds are taking the L today, I feel like they'll still perform really well the rest of the regular season, because if you're going to bring the other 2 dominant teams in your division to game 5, while I believe they also kind of wallop to the other 2 teams that they played. If I'm correct, I can check here real quick.
Yeah, I was thrown off. The Academy League playoffs are starting this week, which is a little sooner than the other. But
yeah, they only have 5 weeks because of the separate divisions.
Yep. So other teams still have a chance. Not going to say they don't for some others. For other teams, they can still work on it, but these 2 teams are going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, for sure. West Broadway now probably have clinched their spot for the 2nd seed. If they've beaten Red Sun, if the only team that can take them down has been Xylos so far, I don't see them losing to any of the other teams. And Red Sun, they 3-0 the other two of the other teams, and if they're going 3-2 against the stronger teams in the league, I feel like definitely they can take out the rest of the teams in the regular season, get that third spot, maybe second if WBG trips up. But I feel like Red Sun definitely, if they look back at these games, they find those mistakes that they did, for example, the first half of that Clam Blitz game. They can come back, and if they ever have to play WBG again, which they might have to,
Oh, I hope
since
so.
in the playoffs, first seed versus fourth seed, and if the second and third seed are WBG and Red Sun, that's going to be a rematch. And if that's the case, Red Sun, if you're all watching this, you better be getting ready, because I know you guys want that win. You guys want to get your revenge. You lost on game 5. You want to win next time. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, So
I
I think
think
we're going to
so.
sign off here.
All right. Thanks for watching. I've been Aka Prime, the other person's IPS. And tomorrow there will be Academy League. What time is it starting? 5:30?
Yeah, it's going to be, no, I believe it's going to be starting 6:30 Eastern time. We're going to be starting off that day. Actually, let me check. Yep, it's going to be starting at 6:30 Eastern time, starting off with Kraken Warriors versus the team we just saw play, Red Sun. So Red Sun definitely going to be looking to get another 3-0 maybe from their first 2 weeks. Maybe they bounce back and get out of this 2-week losing streak. But yeah, that's me it.
All right.
We'll
That'll
see
be
you
worth
guys.
seeing. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.